Welcome to Backstage 421, the musicians only podcast with your host, author, and music lover, Charles Campbell. Charles will have an awesome array of guests from many genres of music, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. By the way, Ray Mattis is the composer of this awesome intro music.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another special edition of Horror 421 / Backstage 421, the podcast. This is going to be a hybrid edition today because the guy I have today is a musician and he's an author, and he's one hell of a guy. And I appreciate you coming back on the show, John Wayne.
Hey, Charles, what's up, man? Nice to be back. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy chatting with you, man.
I love chatting with you too.
How you been? We saw each other in January in person in IRL, as they say, or IRL.
Yep.
In Atlanta. How have you been since then?
I've been well, man. I'm working on book 15. It'll be out later this summer. It's called Signature, A Cut Above, about this crazy lunatic beautician. You guys are gonna love it.
Awesome.
But enough about me, man. Since I talked to you last,
Yes.
I saw this on your website, and I collect vinyl, and I do have a little stack of cassettes here. But you have a new album out called "Who Hurt You?"
That's
And
right.
I have been playing this thing constantly. It's been, in my ears when I'm writing this book. I love this record, man.
Dude, thank you so much.
And check this out. He's got a lime green version of this guy.
Uh-huh. And we have that bright pink one as well.
He's got a bright pink one, but I've been playing the crap out of this one so much, I went ahead and ordered the pink one too. So when this one wears out, I'll pop the pink one in. But let's talk about this record, John Wayne. I love it, man. And
Thanks so much, sir.
I've been checking off my favorites as they change because
hell yeah.
Yeah. I'll get an earworm for one, and then another one catches my ear, and it becomes my favorite. So, out of these, I've had 5 different favorite songs on here.
Oh, nice.
And you performed one of them on the podcast last year, Hopeless.
Hopeless. Okay, because I was like, I can't remember what I played, but I was like, I was gonna ask you to pick a song anyway. So
Yeah.
That's gonna be in your back pocket there. So think about that. But yeah, man, it's I'm so glad you like it, dude. Like honestly, I'm super stoked on this record. Chris Jett, my drummer, the other half of John Wayne Is Dead. As this was coming together, we both were like, getting like super excited with each track back and forth from our producer to us, and it was, we were very excited about it. So to finally get it out there, and people having a good response is awesome because we're super happy with it.
Well, I'm super happy with it too, man. It's amazing. And if you ever put it out on vinyl, I would definitely pick it up.
It is coming out on vinyl.
Awesome.
It
awesome.
just takes longer.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've been playing it on this cool exclusive Evanescence cassette player that I purchased with their reissue of their Fallen album. So it's like a Sony Walkman, but it's got the Evanescence logo on it. So I thought that was really cool. And
isn't that the box? I think I saw her unbox that on TikTok or something, that it had like the lenticular, like it was all holographic stuff in there.
Yeah, I didn't get all that stuff, man. I bought this, and I'm not going to say I was duped because I didn't read the I didn't read the listing as closely as I should have. But when I purchased this, I thought the Fallen cassette would come with it just naturally because I'm buying the cassette player. I thought the cassette would come with it, but no, player did not.
Batteries not included, my friend.
Cassette not. No, the ironic thing is it had fucking batteries. It had batteries.
Well, the batteries you wanted.
Yeah, so the cassette wasn't in there, man. So I was a little bummed about it.
Did you get the
cassette? Not that one. It wasn't available. Yeah,
that's funny. My a buddy of mine, when I was showing him the cassettes, like it was on Super Bowl Sunday, I remember, because I was at his house for his party. This guy's he's nice, but he's like, he's got a lot more money than I do. So he's just like kind of a little like, because he was like, oh, that's awesome, cassettes. Fuck yeah, dude. You know what you need? Cassette players, dude. That's what you need at your booth. John Wayne is Dead cassette players. Hey, you got the cassette? Buy the cassette player. Well, dude, you should totally get them. Get them brought. I was like, whoa, 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 slow down, dude. You're talking like I have capital to just like throw at fucking the cassette make tape player makers. Like, where the fuck So,
Exactly.
but that's cool. I've seen like it seems like there's tapes have been kind of back for I think for I don't know over a decade in like like in the indie punk scene and
Right.
with like Dirt Cult Records and uh, Burger Records, which went out, which went under, but like Dirt Cult, Dirt Nap, they all always did cassettes, and then Chris and I would get cassettes from random bands that we'd play with here and there, and I got, I have a cassette component in my stereo that I got from the Goodwill,
Yeah.
but it still works, and I've got a pretty nice collection of cassettes. I always check them out at the record stores, pick
Oh
up
yeah.
things, So
Yeah, our local record store has a good supply of used cassettes. So shout out to Evan Gransky, best record store around here, Gransky's Records. Go check them out if you're in Augusta, Georgia. And I have some throwback stuff here too, man. I have a boom box over here. I've got so many ways to play music, it's ridiculous. But I
you're a music
digress.
lover, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I want to talk about some of these songs, man, because I checked off some favorites, and I told you they keep changing on me. One that really stuck out to me, and I want to get into how you came up with some of these. And I do want to talk about your partner, Chris Jett. I have the note here: do not overlook Chris at all, because I'm sure he was a big part of this record. But tell me about River Phoenix. That song fascinated me. And you basically laid out, what happened to him, but what gave you the inspiration to write that?
So I've always loved River Phoenix. I've had this weird, like, I guess a pseudo obsession with him. Um, because I remember being a kid and like seeing, like, being aware that he was an actor. I was pretty young, seeing him in whatever I saw him in and stuff. But I remember being in the checkout counter at the grocery store and on the cover of like whatever it was, TV Guide or one of the magazines, I believe it was like TV Guide, it says River Phoenix dead. And it has that last picture of him kind of like looking fucked up. He's got the leather jacket on.
Yeah.
He's like kind of stumbling a little bit like off the curb in front of the Viper Room. And that's like the last picture taken of him. And that always stuck in my mind. And so uh the story goes of that night, he was sober for a while, clean and sober, and his band was supposed to play that evening, like their first gig or something at the Viper Room, and for some reason they had to cancel. Somebody got sick, whatever, and he got like mad sad and fell off the wagon, and that was like he was just so like pissed off that he was just like, well, I'll just get fucked up until I die, I guess.
Oh,
And I, not that he meant to die, but
Yeah.
I can relate to that moment so well. I think that like that's where that comes from. The lyrics are just pretty simple. They just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. I'm gonna think the thoughts inside his head before they put him in his tomb. Like in that moment, the fuck's going through this guy's head? He's got the
Yeah.
world by the balls, But sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, not to be cliche, but um it sucks. And those are dark moments. Those are our darkest moments, probably.
Yeah, well, it struck a chord, man. That was my favorite for a while.
Cool.
And,
Thanks,
and
man.
then I jumped over to Standing There, the first song on the album. Um, you know, and
Mhm.
and audience, please go to johnwayneisdead.com and consider picking this up, because all the songs are really good. So when
Dude.
you hear me talking to John Wayne about these songs, I just want to know where they came from. So
Yeah, and you can also stream it on every streaming platform. So if you
there
don't
you
have a
go.
tape player and you want to check it out, listen along.
Listen
So,
along, listen along.
all right.
So let's talk about Standing There. What was the origin of that track? And audience, you're gonna hear me asking origins of a lot of these songs, just because I'm very interested. But Standing There, where did that come from?
So like I I just like to write kind of little stories within these lyrics. And working with our producer, Marshall Sanchez, Mars Hall, shouts out, amazing, amazing producer, amazing musician. Sorry, I'm drinking beer and like burping.
That's all right.
He recognized us. We talked a lot. He knows us very well. he knows us intimately. So not in the biblical sense yet, but we've stayed at his house. We've played with his band. He's recorded some songs for us. He's just we've known him for a long time. So he wanted to produce this. So he took like he was able to like look at the songs, like all the tracks as like a whole, the story, and then like the little stories, and then a larger story that they told, and we worked that out. So standing there, it's kind of just like I guess like the whole tale of the record is this kind of like uh this end of something, whether it be a relationship, career, however you need to like relate that, and how things just kind of fall apart and just crumble, and then you know you have to use your foundation and build back up on that foundation again. But it's the falling apart. It's called Who Hurt You, because it's kind of like actually I have an origin story for that. I'll tell you in a second, but I
Okay.
digress because I want to get back to the question that you asked like 30 minutes ago, right?
Well, I'll try not to
But
bore you or the
no,
audience
you're
and
not
go.
boring me. You know me, dude. I love talking, dude. You'll just
But
have
yeah,
to tell me to shut
no,
up.
no, no,
But
no, no, no. Well, that makes it easy on a podcast host if you keep talking. But go ahead.
but yeah, like standing there is just kind of like I think I was like maybe within my personal life at the time, like arguing with like my significant other, and it's just like you just reach that point where like you're always like, oh, I wish I was dead. It's like, well, fucking jump, bitch. Like I don't know what to tell you. That's what like the lyrics are
Yeah,
like. you know you always said you wanted to die, but then then the next verse it's like I wanted to die. Like it kind of takes it back. And I always say that like none of my songs are really about other people. They just are really about me. It's like a projection of me in these kind of like
right.
things, like singing back at me or talking back at me. Or I try to, but sometimes it gets a little like I'm an emo boy at heart, so I got to put my mascara on and cry. Uh, but it's like through those things, it's like I'm still here. Like I was, I've always been just standing here.
Yeah.
Like you think like I'm not there, but I'm standing right here. So that's kind of where that came from.
Well, there's definitely a flow to this record, and I think it's so easy for me, and I'm sure for everyone who's heard it. It's so easy to listen to, man. I don't want to skip anything.
Thanks,
So
dude.
that's great that it's on a cassette because you can't really skip anything easily. But like one song just flows into the next, and to the next, and to the next. And what I want to know is how you came up with the concept for the record. How did this record get breathed into life? And tell me about Chris's involvement, teaming up with you to make this record.
Well, so Chris and I go back a long, long way. Just to give you like over 15 years. Like when we first met, he actually he was working at the restaurant like next to the Starbucks that I was managing at the time, and then I ended up hiring him to work like part time, so we got to be friends. But he was always he had been playing in bands up in Denton, which is like up in Dallas. We were in Houston
Right.
at the time, and he wasn't with any bands down in Houston. We moved back here, whatever. He started some bands, and I was already in like two bands at the time. So we actually like started this thing where we would work together and book all of our bands on these like package shows. And um I would go over and jam with them sometimes, and we were pretty good friends. And then I like wrote this handful of songs one day that I've been working on, but I sat down and recorded this like demo, like the original John Wayne is Dead demo. I knew it was called John Wayne is Dead from the start. That was never an issue, but it was just like these different kind of songs that were like punk and emo-ish lyrics, and
Mhm.
got this and maybe some rockabilly and stuff. And I went to Chris. I was like, hey man, I like wrote these songs. Do you want to like listen to them and maybe play drums on them with me? And he was like, sure. So I think it was like that day, like we opened the Starbucks that morning, and that afternoon we just went to his house and jammed. And from there we just, then that after that, then we became like extremely good friends. So we were just practicing all the time because we'd practice at his house. And Chris is definitely, he likes to joke. Like Chris is a soft-spoken guy. If he's listening to this, shouts out Chris, I love you and your soft lips. But he likes to joke. He likes to joke that like he'll do this thing when we're practicing and I'll be like, "All right, dude, how about take it back and do this and that and we'll do this." And like he just like takes his drumsticks and crosses them and makes it look like like he's doing a marionette.
Marionette, yeah.
It's like, whatever you tell me, I'm just pull the strings. John Wayne is dead, whatever you say. So he likes to like give me shit about that. But honestly, you said earlier, I know Chris probably played an integral part. He did in the sense that the first incarnations of these songs were kind of slow. We're more like a slower beat, like not super sped up, not fast at all, kind of I don't know, like emo-ish with maybe a little
Right.
countryness in there or something. And when we started doing them, Chris was like constantly like he'd speed them up. I'd be like, all right, that's cool, but how about like let me start this beat and then you start the song and you'll play along. So and it injected the songs with a whole new um
Energy.
energy and direction as well.
Yeah.
Like it also, when, especially when you're starting a new project, sometimes you're like, unless you're like, we are a German leather fucking industrial band, like
Right.
maybe you're kind of finding yourself anyway and figuring out what you want to do. But when he sat down to play the drums, that's how it all came together. Like if anybody else sits in that seat and were to be like play the drums, John Wayne is Dead would be a completely different band right now. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a I don't know, Jack White, Meg White situation where you can tell if he's playing a White Stripe song and Meg isn't playing the drums because it's not something it's an intangible like kind of quality.
Yeah.
But no, Chris brings he definitely was integral in the beginning of us being like, okay, this is the kind of band we are. So
Well, that's an amazing origin story for sure, man. Is there one song, one or two songs on this album that really stick out for you personally? Do you have a favorite, or do you have two or three favorites? And if so, why?
um, probably like you were saying, maybe my favorites change from time to time, especially after like playing them a lot. If we're rehearsing, we did
Right.
some hardcore rehearsals recently, and we're playing the songs like over and over. And sometimes you're like, man, I like playing this song, and then 3 times later you're like, fuck this fucking song. Um, but my favorites, I do love every song in the record, but some of my favorites are um Death Packs, Last Plot on the left. Um, I like Murder Scene a lot. Hopeless. Um, I guess I'll stop right there.
Well,
Those are
hopefully,
five.
yeah, you played Hopeless Live the last time, and I got so much response from people
That's
messaging
so
me and
cool.
making
That's so
comments.
cool.
That, and I loved it. Well, my old ass is
Mhm.
sitting here bobbing my head where you were playing, and but
Come on.
it was fun.
That was very
Uh,
fun.
it was very fun. So I know you said you guys, sat down, you played these songs a lot. Are you playing live anywhere? Or is that in the works?
Yeah, we've been actually playing since I moved. So it's a weird situation because I live in Las Vegas, as you know,
Right.
and Chris still lives in Houston. So it's not like it was where we're like, every, every week, 3 times a week, we're just
Right.
jamming and all that. It's different. So we have been going back and forth, flying back and forth, like uh, uh, him flying to here to me, and we'll practice and we'll play. Like we've played several of the bars up here now in downtown Las Vegas where I live. I was back there in February because with all my driving, if I can swing into Houston on the way to somewhere, if I have some lead time, then I can stay with him. We can rehearse for like 4 or 5 days, try to pick up a show before I go on to the next
Yeah.
place. Now, like the next, like as of this record, in coming up in the second week in May, I believe I'll be in Knoxville at Bride of Frankencon, and I'm performing there
Oh, nice.
at the party. I played there last year. This now this particular part of the party is more like music. There'll be like the I forget what they're called. Damn it, just went away from my mind. The something creatures. There's another awesome like horror themed like metal band, and
Oh,
now Chris.
Are you talking about Casket Creatures?
Yeah, yes, those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll be playing. Chris was going to join me on that one, just meet me in Knoxville and play, but uh, some came up. You know, he's got kids and shit, so
Oh, yeah, yeah.
so I'm gonna do that one by myself. But uh, yeah, we've been playing a lot of as many shows as we can, and we started back up using this program or this app that we used during the pandemic called Jam Kazam, that actually allows you to rehearse uh, online because
Ah,
it's like you have to use a Ethernet cable like hardwire like from my laptop to like the fucking modem or whatever.
right.
Can't be over Wi-Fi. And sometimes it takes some dialing in or whatever, but because everyone has different equipment, different speeds and stuff, but it basically eliminates the latency between you and the other person, and you can play like you're playing
Together.
practicing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you can change like you can make like yourself louder, softer, the other person, people, you can like pan things into different ears to try to make it like it's, best as you can to hear everything. So it's a pretty sweet ass thing. So program if any other musicians are, split by thousands of miles.
Which may be more common than you think,
No, yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but man, I'm so proud of you for this record, man. Go pick up Who
Oh,
Hurt
thanks,
You
dude.
at johnwayneisdead.com. Get the cassette, go stream it on Spotify or wherever you get your streaming music. I'll put links below where you can check all that out. But
Hell yeah.
super excited for this record, man. I've been listening to the shit out of it. I've been, and I don't know if I talked to you about this, but when I write, I listen to music. But I think you said you
Uh-huh.
mostly listen to instrumentals, or was that someone
When I'm
else?
when I'm writing, yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I like to listen to like the weird like prog, like Sun. I like to listen to like just or yeah, just doom metal with no lyrics, pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the opposite. I listen to everything, and this one has been, like I said, I'm wearing this cassette out, so I had to pick up the pink one.
I appreciate it so much. The origin, I was saying earlier before I forget, because you know me, dude, I've been smoking with three hands for the last like 2.5 hours. I the origin of how the name came about was when I first was like here in Las Vegas. I was like I don't even think I had moved here yet. But I just started dating Scarlett. So we were kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was here in Las Vegas. She was in the living room of our house because she was working from home at that point, like her office or whatever was remote. And I had my guitar because I was like, do you mind if I like play some songs out here? Because I was also like, let me play some songs for this lady. And so I'm sitting there and I'm playing and I play a song and play a song and she's like doing her thing. And after about three songs, she just yells out, "Who hurt you?" And to which I replied, "Everyone." But so I would say we would make that joke all the time. And when it came down to bouncing names for the record, I told Chris that story, and I was like, I think we should name it "Who Hurt You," and he's like, "That sounds good to me." So that's why it's called "Who Hurt You." Um,
Well, that's
but it
awesome, man.
goes with the entire like theme of the record.
Oh, this is what I meant to ask you about this.
Oh,
Your branding is awesome. I mean, the way you market your stuff and the way everything is pretty consistent with the way you brand things. Um, did you do this cover?
I did.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's you. I mean, it's definitely your signature. But how'd you come up with the idea for this cover? It's pretty cool. I don't know if
It's
people can see it.
so there's a variation of the what will be on the cover for the vinyl. So the cassette has um a phone with a skull in the middle where the dial should be, like an old school
Yeah.
phone. It says John Wayne is dead. There's blood underneath it, and a word bubble that says "Who hurt you?" And I can show you the you know um, since we got this all set up to be like, let's share screens, man.
All right, let's share screens.
I can show you what the front cover will look like here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and John Wayne Comunale is going to share something special with us. We have the cover of, what are we looking at here, John?
We were talking so we like in out there in Radio Land, we actually stopped down for 2.5 weeks to figure out. We had to uninstall, reinstall. Actually, like Charles shaved his beard and I grew one. But we're back. But it's instantaneous as you're listening. But no, we were talking about the cover, the on the cassette, about like the branding and about what that was. And I said it was a variation of what the cover for the vinyl looks like, and this is the cover for the vinyl on your screen right now. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Are you looking at the phone?
I'm looking at the phone.
And it's like this phone, like all the blood is coming out of the receiver everywhere, and the buttons spell out who hurt you, just for those people who aren't, able to watch. So I don't know. This image just came to like, I'll sit with my sketchbook, dude, and just doodle stuff sometimes. And with the songs and putting together the record, I just kept having this image with the name and the content and stuff. And I was like, I don't know. It just kind of evolves from there.
Well, I like it, man. I like it. I'm definitely going to pick up the vinyl when it's available. So I would advise you people who collect vinyl to pick it up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's that. So
awesome. Well, we have talked about Who Hurt You. Now, John Wayne wears many hats, and I admire him for this. He stays busy. He goes all over the country. And
whoa! Before we move on.
Okay.
Can I show you? I mean, I already was like, we're gonna watch a video, but now we can watch another video that has not been released yet.
All right, let's go.
We're talking about the Who Hurt You album. So right now, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can watch a video that my very good friend Nick P did for the song Worth It. And that was just like a straight up like music video like that we did in our practice space. Just it's black and white, it's quick cuts back and forth. It's very cool. Check that out. But when Chris was visiting me in Las Vegas last month, we already were like, let's shoot another video while we're up here. So for like the entire 8 days, I was just taking footage like of us just doing stuff right on my phone.
Right.
And at the end, I put it, I cut it into a music video for a song called Murder Scene. And I would like to play that for you.
Nice. We have an exclusive on the Backstage 421 Horror 421
an
podcast.
Exclusive premiere.
Nice.
Let me go here back to the screen share. It's gonna be good, dude. It's gonna be good. Okay, change the Yeti, blah blah blah. Participants see your application. Okay, tell me if you can hear this.
Take two.
Okay.
Bury me on Sunday. By then I'll be just skin and bone. Take back your crucifix, the wooden stake you killed me with, and the silver can all go back in the drawer. We don't need it anymore, 'cause now I'm done. You say you hate the sun, you were sick so beautiful when I lost you to the stars. And the spiders came and took you back to Mars, like the whole thing was a setup from the start. Now it's just a murder scene, with you holding a knife over me. I don't need no tombstone, just leave me in an unmarked grave. The less you remember me, the better off you're sure to be. And if I stay out only 'cause the light, I stay out all night, so I can't breathe. You say you hate the sun, you were sick so beautiful when I lost you to the stars. And the spiders came and took you back to Mars, and the whole thing was a setup from the start. Now it's just a
There you go. So that's everything in that video is just all places around downtown Las Vegas where I right by where I live, where Chris and I go hang out when he's in town. And when I put this video together, I was like, Chris, this like really makes, I mean, I know like maybe we like to drink beer and we play in a punk band, but this makes us look like we just love to drink. It seems like every shot of the video we're like drinking a beer or taking a shot. But some of that
Oh my gosh.
we're at the Punk Rock Museum for some of that here in Las Vegas, so that was cool. But we're at like, Evil Pie, Hunter's Tavern. We're at several of our local haunts here. So you know,
Yeah, we
uh
got a premiere, man. We got an exclusive here on Backstage 421 Murder Scene. That was an awesome video, man.
thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it.
Do you have any other questions about the record or
No, well,
the
let's
music
let's
or
let's segue into the
okay,
author side. We can bounce back and forth though. We can come back to it. It's
yeah, I
fine.
mean, we can do whatever we want,
That's
dude. We're
exactly.
awesome. We're
Yeah,
badass.
we're amazingly badass. So I admire this guy because he travels all over the country and he's always got a smile on his face. He's got this humongous nice setup of amazing books. John Wayne is an accomplished author. In January, I picked up one of his books. It's All of Your Dreams Will Come True When You're Dead. I'm going to read this on vacation when I go on vacation in a couple of weeks. So
Okay.
can't wait to read this. The cover looks amazing. Did you design this cover? Did you do this?
No, no. So that's like in the that's the splatter western that's in the Dead Set
Yeah.
Press Dead Sky splatter western series. So Justin Coons is the cover artist for all of the books in that series. So they all have the same look.
Yeah.
But he and I like worked back and forth because mine's a cosmic horror type of thing western. So I was like, well, it's gotta have tentacles, we gotta have like so I want some green lightning
Oh,
and just like cosmic. And he was like, okay. So he read it and then he had like the ideas for like, okay, let's put this character here, and he just sent sketches back and forth to me, and that's how we work together. So no, I love that cover as well. Like
this
it's
I'd like a
epic.
might make a ask you if I can buy a poster of that. That thing will look good on my wall.
It would look great.
Really love that cover. So John Wayne's written a shit ton of books. I read this one, and this is the OG cover. His cover has changed on this book, but it's called The Cadillac Man.
Cadillac Man. Yep.
Amazing book. Amazing book.
Appreciate it.
It's pretty lengthy, but the story is top notch. I'd love to see this as a feature film. But those are the two books
Me
that I
too.
that I have on hand. I did read Sinkhole. That's a good short read for you people out there. It's a nice little horror story about a sinkhole that appears in a backyard and all kinds of crazy shit happens coming out of that sinkhole. But what we want to promote today, and John Wayne is going to give us a little snippet. He's got a little trailer for it, but he has a brand new book coming out, and it's called Toured to Death. So, John Wayne, tell us about the new book, man. When is it coming out, and give us a little info on it.
Right. So this book, it's been something like I had this idea that was percolating for a while, and as you were saying before, if you're listening and you aren't familiar with me or what I do a lot of traveling and a lot of touring, and sometimes I'm gone for weeks at a time from my house, from my home. Last year especially was like a super hard travel year for me because I was completely by myself. I didn't have like my friend or Scarlett anymore because of their work situation. So it was just me and Boney. And I always would say before that, I was like, people were like, do you like being on the road all the time? And I would say, yeah, I love it. I'm made for it. The road's not for everyone. And like after last year, I had to be like, no, the road is not for everyone. And I want to like yank the wheel into a goddamn bridge embankment. Like I just like have, it's hard. It's hard. So like I actually took a break. Like I canceled all of my shows in April, like as of this record. Like so I've been home like regrouping. I did two shows here in Las Vegas that were great. I have a big reading coming up at Avant Pop Books on June 8th. If you're in the area, it's going to be an amazing performance art evening. But I'm on the road all the time anyway. I digress. With either my band or the horse, like convention circuit. This book, I started coming up with these stories based on just things that happen on the road that are common things that would happen if you traveled a lot, like I did, in some kind of capacity of like a touring band or a convention circuit or a carny with a circus, whatever your thing may be. If you're on the road a lot, you can relate to these certain things, especially in music. Because so this book follows, our nameless singer-songwriter who is on tour by themselves, and each chapter is a date of the tour.
Oh,
so it's just like
nice.
what happened that night. Now it's 8 different dates, and it's just sprinkled in between. So think about like you're just getting these kind of like dips in on this tour, right? You're
Right.
just seeing these 8 instances that happen. So it's almost like it may be present like almost as a short story collection, but it's not. Like it's a novel that is just told in these like 8 parts, 8 different dates that our singer songwriter hero is on the road. And just shit like, for instance, a sound man. Like sometimes like sound guys can be fucking just weird as hell. Like persnickety, have like fucking borderline personality disorder. Like I've met some fucking weird ass sound men in different cities that just you're like, what the fuck is going? I mean, like, dude, this one sound guy, like our drummer didn't have a in the band I was in at the time didn't have like a hole in the front of his kick drum, that they have sometimes. He had a
Right.
Gretsch kit that just had the thing, and he was like, this guy. Yeah, I mean, he was like I think he was tweaking his ass off because he's like, well, we got, we knew like about a sound hole in here, and like he was like, well, I guess, what do you have like a tool or something to do that? And this motherfucker grabs an ashtray off of a table and the steak like knife, like for like steak night at the bar or whatever, and just plunges it into the fucking drum head and just cuts this raggedy ass hole around this fucking uses the the ashtray as the thing, and you see like the color just drain from our drummer's face as he watched this happen. It happened so quick. He was like, what the fuck? And we'd be like, all right, hey, chill, dude. We'll figure this out. Just don't do anything. Let's just figure this out.
God.
So just like stuff like that. And I took instances like that also, like, just dealing with weird green room situations, waking up in weird places where you're like, not again, where am I? Just like the drugs, the other personalities and other bands and I took all of those things and then I kind of spun them out into this like, I added fiction elements to this. Like, well, what if it was this,
Yeah.
and it has this kind of like Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side feel to each of these little instances. But there is a truth in each one of these dates that this person plays. I've pulled from personal experience for sure. And I think, like I said, you don't have to be on the road to enjoy these stories because, they're fucking nuts. But if you are, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I met someone like that once, So yeah, it's just something that I really wanted to do for a while. Like I'm just driving around thinking of these stories, and I sat down and got it all together, banged it out, and it's coming out May 6th.
Wow, really soon.
2024.
Really soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to get it out before I hit the road again. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, and I have this trailer. I'd love to
Let's check it out, man. The trailer for Toured to
play
Death.
for you. Let's see. Let me share this screen here again. Share screen. All right. Oh wait.
Nice. Well, I see something.
Let me see. I don't know if I have to change. Tell me if you can hear it.
Yep.
Cool. The road. It's not for everyone. It's not for most, I'd say. Non-stop driving, endless asphalt, a flipbook collection of motel rooms, the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. Any one of these aspects would be enough to burn most folks out, frustrate them to no end, make them throw in the towel. I'm hesitant to say there are no rules out there, because there are. It's just that they aren't conventional, and they most certainly aren't fair. But if you keep at it long enough, it becomes part of you. Between the tedium and rigor, there every once in a while comes reward, though not in the traditional sense. Sometimes it's just an experience that nudges you back from the edge, lets you know it's all worthwhile. Other times it manifests in the form of a situation you find yourself in that pushes you beyond comfort and common sense, then breaks you apart with no promise or guarantee of being put back together. This is how you find out who you really are and what you're made of. Sometimes we make it there and back. Sometimes the road takes control and never lets go. Sometimes you're just towed to death.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice. I love that.
Cool. Oh, I'm not. Maybe I'm not. All right.
Love that.
Man. So cool. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Yeah, it was like a live reaction. That was also an exclusive. I haven't played that yet for anybody either. So yeah, I just the footage on that, like all of the road stuff, is actual just for me drive. Like sometimes I'll just pop up my phone and just take footage of the shit around me, like the snow. I drive through the mountains all the time, and sometimes I take it for granted because I'm like, nah, I fucking hate driving these goddamn fucking mountains, and I still do. But it's beautiful sometimes. So I take some of that, some footage, and I just saved it all, and but Boney's in there, a couple times when we're driving, and then I threw some of the gigs in there. But then I did all the other weirdo shit.
Oh, I'm
like,
definitely
bloody
gonna pick that up. May 6th, you said.
Yes, sir. And yeah. So yeah, and it's gonna have let's do, can we do like a cut so I can go take a piss before we
Sure.
like yeah, because like
I'm gonna
I want
pause. Well, John Wayne, that trailer was amazing, and I'm definitely gonna pick up a copy of the book. It's out May
Thanks, dude.
6th.
May 6th, there's gonna be the general admission copy, which is just the book signed by me, of course. But there's going to be a VIP backstage edition that comes with a tour laminate here that I'm showing.
Oh, nice.
And the back is the dates, which are the titles of all the chapters from that. And then there's a custom guitar pick with the dates and the tour to death on it as well on the front. I don't have those to show you right now, but that and those and a sticker and all that comes with the VIP pack as well. So you have a choice in these kind of things.
And John Wayne, his signature is very unique. My signature I look like a freaking doctor writing a prescription, but here's one he signed to me, and it is batshit crazy. I love it.
Yeah, it says nice shooting. I looked at sometimes people will walk back around and be like, hey man, what does this say? What did you write? I've always been of the belief that if I'm gonna sign something, I'm gonna sign it.
Yeah.
And I like to do, I like to do that.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, man. And I wish I were more creative like that. I'm just a bzz, bzz, so
hey man, that does, it's your signature is your signature, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have any pomp and circumstance. It's you.
Well, I want to know how you find the time to do all this stuff, man. How do you find the time to make all this music, write these books, and be on the road? I mean, like last year's schedule, or just you in general, man. Over the last few years since I've known you, I'm just amazed at how much you can put out there while being everywhere at once. It seems like. How do you maintain that?
It's very hard. Like I said, it's no joke. It's gotten very difficult. Like I don't have any other job, just first of all. So if anybody's like, how the fuck does he do this? This is my job.
Right.
So like
well, even with that, man, even with that,
well,
I mean,
so I don't have any excuses as far as like, well, I'm just so tired at the end, it's just like, no, if I don't make it happen, like, it doesn't happen, hips and nips or we don't eat.
right.
One of the things that really was like kind of mentally debilitating for me, like with all the travel last year being by myself, was that I couldn't work as much as I wanted. I didn't have the time to sit and write or draw or, play music, write songs as much as I wanted to because I'm driving for 4 days in a row.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, that's like 10, 12 hours a day. And even if I'm trying to like, be cute and stop at like 6 p.m., early one night just to fucking stop down. When you stop, dude, you're just exhausted. Like, I don't, I try my best. I'll sit there and I'll try to like type out some, bang out some stuff. But man, it's tiring.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to do the kind of stuff, the routine based stuff that I like to do when I'm not traveling and not having like, if I had someone to trade off with driving and stuff, like when you have that, that gives you some time, I
Right.
could, either rest in the car. So that way, when I do stop, I can stay up late and do stuff. Or, if I'm passenger seat, fuck, I can still work on stuff. Right.
Right.
But so it's very hard. Like it got like even harder. Like that's why I wanted to take some time off and restructure my travel. But I'm not stopping traveling. I mean, I took like 2 shows off,
Right.
and then I still didn't really take them off because I just took them off from traveling. I still did just 2 shows here in Las Vegas.
Right.
But it's structuring your time, it's discipline, it's just kind of knowing like, buck stops here, man. Bucks, if you don't do it, it's not gonna happen. So how hard is your life really? Like I can say I'm tired, but it doesn't behoove me to do that. You got to just dig a little deeper still, I guess, and uh,
Press.
push forward,
Yeah.
through adversity. And even though you don't want to, it's
Yeah.
like, if everyone could do it, everybody would, but
Right.
they can't. So, you kind of gotta, put that extra in. And
Well, I admire you for that, man. I know you work your ass off, and you're one hell of a guy. And
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm just amazed at all the stuff you can and have done. I mean,
Nah, man, come on.
nah. This is John Wayne Love Fest, so shut up. It'll be all
All
right.
right, all right. Little old me.
But yeah, man. So what do you have on the horizon? Do you have anything you're looking at to work on? Do we've got Toured to Death coming out. Is there something tickling your brain that you may want to work on next from an author perspective?
Yeah, well, I mean, did you see my magazine, Gas Money, that I put out? Did I have those in Atlanta for you to look at? Can't remember.
I did not see it. If you had it, I apologize. I didn't
No,
see it.
that's okay. So I started, I can't remember if I might have been sold out of them right then. But anyway, so I started doing this magazine that my buddy Nick P and I conceptualized. It's called Gas Money Magazine, ASS. Just for being on the road, we were like, the original like idea was to have something extra at the table that wasn't a book that, anybody, people that maybe if they don't like to read books could, but they still want to support, can like throw $10 at this magazine. And it's silly. It's basically like a parody Mad Magazine type of thing. It's got letters to the editor that are basically just, make us look like idiots. And there is a novelette that goes throughout the articles, like if you read it, following the adventures of these characters in Meat and Grease, which might be loosely or not so loosely based on some people. But it also is just like it's got fake products, like all these fake ads for fake products
Yeah.
and things like that we've come up with. There's a whole section called Texas Style that Nick and I would be doing something and be like, yeah, that's Texas style. And so like it's just stupid stuff. Like one of us, like we're staring into a mirror, just tripping our balls off one time in Atlanta. And I just like kind of just drew like a reimagining of that. And it's like just Texas style of us tripping. It's just like silly stuff like that. But so that's out now, issue 1. Issue 2 is almost done. I've got all the stories are written for it. All the content that needs to be written is written, like letters to the editor and the
Oh,
stories. But it's also got like comics. Like this one has got like I used to do a few years back, I did like some zines that were comics of John Wayne is Dead, of me and Chris. It was called The Afterlife Adventures of John Wayne is Dead. And we were just dead and in hell and had a stupid job.
man.
We like Satan was a character, our boss Gary was a character. There was Baphomet was a character. This is silly stuff, right? So
Nice.
like I brought that back, but it's not in hell anymore. It's just us being like, oh, our gear
Yeah.
got stolen because we loaded it into a van that wasn't ours. Like, so there's comics, stupid products. In issue 2, I'm super stoked to put that out because now, like the first one, I was like, I had all this stuff for a while. I was like, we have to put this out. Dude. I'm just pulling the trigger and putting it together. And I sat
Yeah.
down over a few days, like 5 days, and did like a layout and sizing. I did all of it myself and put it out. And then once you do something like that, you're like, okay, now I have a better sense of it. And so I know a little bit more what I'm doing. So I'm like super stoked to put that out. Hopefully within the next month, um, hopefully by June, I'm you're buying Gas Money issue 2 from me. So
Yeah, I gotta get issue 1, man. If you had it in Atlanta, I'm sorry, I would have definitely picked that up. I was distracted.
I
I
might have
was,
sold out. Who knows, dude? Who knows?
yeah. Well, I was kind of
You were
like you.
You were across from my crazy friend that was
Oh
losing
yeah,
her mind.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
that
yeah,
was really
yeah.
distracting.
Oh yeah. She was super nice, man, but she was all over the place. Did you hear she
Mm-hmm.
left her shit in the parking lot and they like
Mm-hmm.
merchandise?
It was a
Oh,
box of purses, and man, she was like, she was already so pissed at that guy, and then she was like, blame that on him. I don't know if he did it or not, but she was like, the fuck. She was so mad at him. I love you.
oh,
I love her. I doubt she's listening to this, but
yeah.
she knows I love her.
But yeah,
Christine, shouts out.
yeah. She was cool, man. Um, I wanted to, help her with her business a little bit because she'd roll in super late and there were people over here trying to shop and she wasn't there. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
I think that was just an off weekend for her.
Yeah,
That's not the usual.
that's
So
not that's not that's not the norm.
no.
So before we part the podcast today, I want you to promote away. We've kind of done it during the entire podcast, but tell everyone where they can find you. I'm going to put links below, of course.
Please. You can
But
find everything that I do at johnwayneisdead.com. All my books, you can get the album, the vinyl of our first record, the cassette, all my books, extra goodies, t-shirts that will be up there here as soon as they come in, all kinds of stuff. But all my links are there. But you can get all my books everywhere you get books from. And if you want to follow me at John Wayne is Dead on every social media platform, I appreciate any and all support.
thank you again for being on the show, John Wayne. I always love talking
My
to you,
pleasure,
man.
dude. Dude, I fucking love you, dude. I love
Uh,
talking to you. You're a bad motherfucker.
well, thank you, man. I love you to death, and I wish you all the success in the world. I am
Back up.
Charles Campbell, small town author. My latest release is called The Piano Witch, but I have a new book coming out the end of summer. It's called Signature Cut Above, about a crazy beautician. You can find all my stuff at valleyboypublications.com. You can find Horror 421, the podcast, on Facebook. You can find Backstage 421, the podcast, on Facebook. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And that's going to do it for this week's hybrid edition of Backstage 421, the musicians only podcast, and Horror 421, the podcast. So John Wayne got a twofer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys,
Double the pleasure, double your
Exactly.
fun.
All right, guys. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. John Wayne Comunale is going to close us out today with a song from his brand new record, Who Hurt You? So make sure you check that out at johnwayneisdead.com. And the song he's going to play for us is River Phoenix. So take it away, John.
1, 2. I wanna die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. Hold on. There we go. I wanna die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. I want to think the thoughts inside his head before they put him in his tomb. 2, 3, 4. Well, I've got 30 reasons not to, and about 1,000,000 for. Those are just what I wrote down, you know the rest I just ignore. When I know it sounds tempting, but it's not good to tempt fate, because I'd rather circle down the drain and drown in all this hate. And I will die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. I wanna think the thoughts inside his head before they put him in his tomb. And I will burn through this existence so that everyone can see that I finally found a way that I can be happy. And I've got 30 reasons not to. About 1,000,000,000 for, right? Those are just what I wrote down, you know. The rest I just ignore. When I know it sounds tempting, but it's not good to tempt fate, because I'd rather circle down the drain and drown in all this hate. And I will die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. I wanna think the thoughts inside his head before they put him in his tomb. And I will burn through this existence so that everyone can see that I finally found a way that I can be happy. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. And I will die like River Phoenix outside of the Viper Room. I wanna think the thoughts inside his head before they put him in his tomb.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
John
man.
Wayne Comunale. Now, before I let you go, now this is ending the podcast, but John just showed me something really, really cool. He's got a new book coming out, which we talked about. It's called Toured to Death. But show the audience that cool ass guitar pick, man.
Oh, yeah. This
Check
is
this
just
out.
part of, if you order the VIP package, one of the exciting elements of it is a guitar pick that has the name of the book, Toured to Death, little pentagram
Nice.
there. It's hard to see. And then the back will be easier to see when you get one. All the chapters are toward the dates of the tour that he's on. So
Oh man, how
they're all
cool is
listed
that?
on the back of that. So that you get a backstage, you get all kinds of goodies. So check it out. May 6th.
May
Kiddies.
6th. All righty. Well, thank you again, John. And you
Thanks,
guys have a good day, good week. We'll see you next time on Horror 421, the podcast.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Backstage 421, the musicians only podcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Listener support links can be found below. Thank you for your support.